we have a few. I'll take at least two for today.
Yes.
Um, the first question has been sent over via the chat, and it goes as follows: is there a connection or a relationship of dependence between being truthful and the ability to see the truth? And what can one do to develop his or her ability to see the truth, for example, in confusing matters?
Yeah, it's very much related. If you are committed to the truth, then you would sense the truth when someone speaks, when someone does something, or when there is a situation, where there is something happening in the society, then it would open your eyes to the truth. You become very sensitive about it, and you can somehow smell that this is not true. But it needs, of course, other things as well. So it's not just the people who are telling the truth, but if, in addition to telling the truth, the quality of sidq is achieved, then it gives some kind of basira and insight to identify the truth. This is why Allah says, "Ittaqullah wa kunu ma'as sadiqin." Should have taqwa and be with the sadiqin, because sadiqun are with the sidq, and if you are with them, inshallah, you will not go to wrong direction. If they are ma'sum, of course, definitely, but even mu'minin who are sadiq, if we are with them, then inshallah we will not go to the wrong direction.
Thank you, Sheikh. Now, the next question
You're welcome.
is on a practical level. COVID-19 is making Silat al-Rahim difficult. It's causing lots of difficulty, like families have to think, is it safe to have extended family home, like for staying?
Yes.
So basically, we have some considerations in terms of, the distancing, the physical distancing, which has to be 6 feet, which is very hard to do. So what practical advice can you share, dear Sheikh, on how to be promoters of Silat al-Rahim given COVID-19 is still ongoing?
Of course, you do as much as possible. Actually, it has made Saleh Rahim maybe it's also easier now because sometimes you have to travel and you cannot maybe travel, but now they don't expect from you to travel, to another country, for example. So you do as much as you can, and the main thing is that you have commitment to this and do as much as you can. You don't need to endanger your health or someone else's health for Saleh Rahim. Just you do as much as you can, and inshallah then the situations become better and you can compensate for that. Of course, it's not a compensation needed, but I'm saying that you can do more, inshallah, later.
Inshallah. Thank you so much, Sheikhna.
You're welcome.
One more question. I think we have time for it. So, a question is, what is the relationship between the human brain, the intellect, and behavior? There is some research showing that decisions which people consider to be their own conscious choice could be predicted 11 seconds before they make them, looking at brain activity. And based on that, some raise questions about the existence of human will and further possibilities of mind control techniques. What do you think are perspectives of developing technology that affects or alters human thinking and decisions?
Yes. Yeah, human mind is very, very complicated, very much sophisticated, human mind. And even it has the ability of studying itself. With human mind, you can study human mind. And some great scholars say that if you understand mind, you have understood everything about philosophy. Because our mind has many functions and in different levels. Just as for example, we have معقولات أولى, معقولات الثانية. معقولات الثانية also doesn't mean just secondary intelligibles. It can be third, it can be fourth. So sometimes mind has a concept, then it reflects on that concept, comes up with another concept, then it reflects on that, comes up with another concept. So human mind is very, very sophisticated. And sometimes there is something in your mind that you are not aware of. You have conscious, you have unconscious levels of mind, and even each of them may have different levels and degrees. So sometimes we think that we are making decision, but the reality is that we are not exercising that much free will. You might have heard from me that in some lectures I have said that for me, which means to my humble opinion, the most important thing about a person is how much he takes his time, or how much he does processing between something occurring to him or presented to him and making a decision. This is, for me, the most important aspect of intelligence and wisdom, and also piety of a person. When something comes to your mind, or you hear something, you see something, till you make a decision and you say something, you do something, you go somewhere, how sophisticated this process is for you. Unfortunately, I think, I might be wrong, but I think most of people, it wouldn't take them that long. They have already patterns, and it's like you press the button, they do it. They think they are making decision, but they act like almost a robot. And therefore, if you know their psychology, 99% you can predict. But this is not because human beings don't have free will. No, it's because we are not using and developing our free will. Something comes to our mind, we say it, we do it. And actually also in some discussions about magic, I have said that I think the secret, I'm not sure, but this is my thinking. I think the power of magic also is in bringing something to you, but you go for it, you follow it. So people who are very intelligent and in control of their thought and decisions, I think magic would not work on them. For example, maybe they can bring suspicion to wife or husband in order to damage their relation. But then, are you going to go after that suspicion or not? If you are not a person who goes after suspicions, if you are a person who observes اجتنبوا كثيرا من الظن, this is not going to work on you. And few times you say no, it will stop. But if as soon as something comes to you and they can bring temptations to you and you go for it, then you will become a victim for it. So many times our decisions, which are not made by our brain, which are made by our soul, but we have already made some kind of patterns that they become like reflection or reflexive, response. Something comes, quickly we do something. Like, for example, imagine if you are a person who can always have a camera on someone who is driving. Over time, you can realize that how this person makes decisions. And many people always, maybe 99%, you can predict them. not because they are programmed, but because they have allowed fixed things become pattern, and this pattern little by little can even create some kind of impact on their nervous system. So my understanding is that we are free. We can really exercise our free will to the extent that no one would be able to understand and predict or force our decision. But the reality is that many people don't use their free will, or they use very, very little by it, percentage of it, and therefore they can be predictable.
One last question for today. Please elaborate upon Silat al-Rahim. Sometimes there are some relatives who wish you harm, and sometimes connecting with them hurts you. Sorry, the question has moved. Let me just scroll back up. Hurts you financially, socially, or otherwise. Do we still connect? And sometimes our parents become unhappy if we connect with some relatives, they being not on good terms with them themselves. Do we still connect with such relatives?
Yeah.
So some scenarios about Silat al-Rahim.
Yeah, so sometimes connected to them hurts. Yeah.
Yeah, it hurts on a social, financial, or otherwise level.
So connect to them on other times. It's not that all the time.
Yes.
Anyway, you have to be using your creativity always, because sometimes these relations are difficult to keep and do justice to other relations. For example, sometimes to please your own parents and your own, for example, wife or husband or in-laws, all of them keeping them pleased. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's not easy. You cannot sacrifice one for the sake of other, but you have to use your creativity of mind to find out with more efforts how you can keep everyone pleased as much as you can, and how can do justice to each of them. So when it comes to Salay Rahim, it's very hard to stop relation with relatives altogether, but you have to find a way to manage. Maybe you can reduce, maybe you can change the frequency, or for example, sometimes visiting person, sometimes calling, but your Rahim must be someone really, really very vicious and very dangerous that you altogether stop your relation with that relative. And also, if for example your parents are not happy with your relation with someone or one of your parents, you have to keep it in the way that you don't annoy your parents. For example, maybe they don't need to know, or you keep it to the at least minimum level. But the solution is not always easy. It sometimes is really struggling to find out a good way, and if you ask Allah inshallah for help, He will show you inshallah some ways out of this problem.